on. There he is.
Well, I don't know how much of a surprise I am.
But what you have is a surprise.
It's funny. I'm playing the song "Lemon" right now.
Oh, let's listen to that.
Oddly enough, I'm just so excited about this, Santo. I'm so excited about this night for you.
Thank you.
You know, you answered some of the important questions up front. You know, it's like in quarantine, a lot of people have taken to making bread or showing off their meals, you know, that have obvious nutritional value.
Right.
And you went with making some homebrew, some hooch.
Mm-hmm. Yep, hooch.
I'm wondering, what do you think? You're clearly not an alcoholic. Is this a family? Like, does it have to do with your ancestry? I know that you tied in The Godfather, which I thought was awesome. I love that you also made it like a allegory, you know, a play on patience and the fact that we're going through a time where we have to be patient. I thought that was really awesome. But is limoncello a very Italian thing?
Very much so. Limoncello
Really?
is pretty much strictly Italian. I think the Spaniards play around with it, but the Spaniards. Shout out to all the Spaniards. But I believe it's a Riviera drink. It's a Riviera drink. And specifically, Sicilians adopted it as their own. So whether or not, you know, it is strictly Italian, but the lemon, because what Italians are great at doing is taking, especially Sicilians, a very poor country, they're great at taking garbage and turning it into anything. So most people would take this lemon, squeeze it, add sugar, and that's it, and throw away everything. A Sicilian doesn't do that. A Sicilian's going to grind it up, macerate it in grain alcohol, add sugar, and preserve it. Just, you know, that's what Sicilians do, and the liquor's no different.
Now,
So,
has anyone in your family, like, this wasn't like a handed down tradition?
No.
Was it? Okay.
No, this is me with a lemon tree and saying, what's the easiest thing I can do? And one was peeling lemons, letting them sit for weeks at a time, adding grain alcohol, mixing in sugar, letting it sit for another couple weeks, and then drinking it. So
how much is it? A ton of sugar?
Yeah.
Just like a shitload of sugar.
It's a lot of sugar. It's almost like rock candy level sugar.
Wow.
It's a lot of sugar. I'm trying to, so it's been a couple weeks. I think I was a 2 to 1 ratio, whereas rock candy would be the opposite, more sugar than water almost. This is almost 4 liters. I forget my metrics. I'll post them. I'll post them for everybody so you can make it at home.
Was there ever a point in the process where you felt like this is just too much, or you were,
Yes.
it was overwhelmed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was overwhelming. I mean, you know, shout out to all the bread makers, because who am I to talk? But I had to peel all these lemons. That took about 20 minutes.
Oh, that's, man. And then that was the most labor intensive part of the process.
Yeah, you're doing the peeling, and you know, you feel like a peasant, and then you cut your fingers. But that was it. And then you put it in and you have a sense of accomplishment. And so we're so used to having a sense of accomplishment.
Rob Fee thinks that Hillary Clinton had something to do with it.
Listen, if she jumps in on this chat, I'd be welcome to have her.
Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought it was important.
It's a political year, and
if Rob brings up something like that, I feel like it probably means something.
I'm not to doubt Rob.
Did you feel closer to your ancestors while you were, say, peeling the lemons, or?
I will say it gave the house a beautiful smell. Hello from Germany. Beautiful smell. It took the outside in. It took away from the dankness of every day. You know, maybe I hadn't showered that week. You know, I can't remember, but it definitely made me feel like I was doing something. And it made me feel resourceful.
Would you say that you were inspired by your children to make homemade alcohol?
They were a motivating factor.
Was the prospect of being quarantined with the family a motivator?
All those were heavy motivational things. I would tell my wife things like, hey, I have to go look at the limoncello and then come back 3, 4, 5 hours later, because I never let her know exactly what one has to do.
So in a way, the limoncello became your mistress.
In many ways, yes, a sweet mistress. And the kids know, don't touch or look at Daddy's lemonade. They know that. So,
right.
You know, all the rules of the road were set ahead of time, and I've enjoyed watching the color changes. I've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed watching my children grow up.
So you haven't actually tasted the final product in its intended fermentation temperature, which I understand is important.
Temperature is very important. If you can see here, you see the frost. That we're getting to tasting time.
Right. And so, what are you hoping for? I mean, like, are you enough of an aficionado that you'll be able to judge your own against others you've had?
No, so I will say I did do some research. Hold on. A special appearance by people who should be asleep. Lemon pajamas, guys.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Lemon pajamas.
It's a family affair. It's
please,
everybody.
Guys, get back to bed. Get back to bed.
Show that Spider-Man.
I will show Spider-Man. Okay, this is going off the rails.
Night, kids.
Good night. There we go. That was bound to happen. Well, let me tell you what I did to start this, because I did want to have a baseline. I did want a baseline, and the baseline is I actually bought.
Some people, I guess, that have joined later saying, "What are you talking about?" So you might once in a while want to hold up your limoncello.
Oh yes. So we are talking about limoncello. For those of you just joining us, we've been on a
homemade, organic. Well,
I think it's organic. I don't fertilize this tree. That would be organic, I guess. We've been on a 43-day lesson in patience of making homemade limoncello during this quarantine, and tonight I'm going to taste it. And
now I have to say one thing. This occurred to me was that I was thinking this was going to take longer, and I was thinking, in fact, that we might get out of quarantine before your limoncello is finished. And I'm a little the only thing that bums me out about this is that the fact that this is over and there's no end in sight for us.
That I thought about that. Initially I was hoping that this would be over before the limoncello was ready and people would be at my house drinking this.
That's ideally.
That was ideal. I have met, like many of you, I go through the roller coaster of emotions, and the last couple days emotions have been, I'm drinking this thing. I'm not letting this go to waste. So, and I didn't want to push it too far. I didn't want to push it too far because I do know it starts to mature, but I was afraid that it might start going south on me in taste and flavor. I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Because it is sitting room temperature.
Of course not. No, that's just so counterproductive. It's antithetical. It's everything. What I do want to know, like, is there a limit to how good, like, your hopes for this? Is it possible that it could taste so good to you that you'll be like, oh, I'm glad the coronavirus happened because this is so good? And
the only way I would just be able to justify that would be if I could continue making this and make money off of it. If I could make money off of it, then years from now I'll look back and
maybe be happy that there was a coronavirus.
Yeah, because if it sparked something for me that was, that set me on my way, what are you gonna do? That's another Italian saying. What are you gonna do?
How? Okay, I think it's time to. So here's the thing: the people who have been following this process from its beginning, following Santo's journey, his limoncello journey. I was worried that we would get to this point and you would taste it on your own and just say it's great no matter what, and none of us would be able to know whether or not you were full of shit. So, what did I do today?
You drove to my home.
Put on a mask.
You had a full mask? He had the gloves.
I had gloves, and I went over and I got some of the limoncello.
We always have surprises here in Limoncello land, folks.
So we will both be tasting it together for the first time. And I know that, like, you're all jealous right now. I know the world is jealous, but it's whatever. It's a coronavirus miracle, and it happened.
And let me just say, and maybe we'll do a recap video tomorrow or something, but for those of you who are saying, wait a second, during this time, he went all the way out across Los Angeles, because we pretty much live as far away from each other as you can possibly live within Los Angeles. It smells good, right?
Wow.
She's sweet. We had a whole system of remote controlled cars and flatbed trucks, little Tonka trucks, bringing the limoncello to his vehicle. We had stoppers on the sidewalk of lemons to make sure it didn't tip and go into the street. This was as by the book Garcetti as you could get, right? I mean, we took all the precautions. So
yeah. I wish we had a multimedia interface by which we could post, you know, the photos that you put up throughout the process,
yeah.
Some of what transpired today when I did the pickup of the booze, but it is what it is.
That's okay. And, you know, listen, if this goes off and all the people want that to happen, you know, I see a situation where maybe we take this to Zoom. We get some of our other friends, we get some drops. I have 100 ounces of this shit, and we can all drink it together, and people around the world can go maybe order through, or go out to their store, be safe, and everyone.
I think that sounds nice.
There's a lot.
I mean, maybe we can do something like that in time for Orange Cello.
Yeah.
So how far behind is she?
You know, it's different because two things. First, I let this sit longer because I really wanted it to get yellow. Once you go past 3 days, they say the oils that are in it, you're fine. It's now about color. And so I let this puppy sit for a while to get this color. It's kind of hard to see the yellow without the sunlight. It's picking up the dark. But the orange, however, kind of went only about a week and a half to 2 weeks before I noticed the color stopped changing and getting brighter. So it was about 18 days behind, about 18 days if my math, it's hard to remember, but she can be ready quicker if I need it. Let's pour it and taste it.
Let's do this. Yeah.
All right, guys. Syrup.
I'm really excited, man. I was worried that this day would never come for me, that you would have it and I would just have to. It's very syrupy and very.
Yeah, I mean, it's an after dinner drink. So you sip.
Sure.
This. You sip this. You ready? Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Oh, Ryan.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow.
It's crisp. It's sweet. I don't know. It's got it's smooth for those who want to know. This is like a syrup. If you could see it being poured out, folks, it was like a thick syrup.
You guys got to try this.
I think it's a medium body with a crispness to it that I think is be great. And now, granted, this has been sitting outside for almost 20 plus minutes. Really what you want is right out of the freezer into the glass, boom, back into the freezer.
Really? But it tastes, you know, I've had others that taste way more processed or artificial or something. Well, here's a good question. Is there anything that, if I went to the store and bought a bottle, is there anything that's in that bottle that isn't in your?
I think the alcohol, well, oftentimes the alcohol they use is a really like a cooking alcohol, is that ethanol, cooking grade? So they will do that. The sugars might not be pure sugar. I mean, this was pure, perfect sugar that I melted down. So it wasn't.
The alcohol is not very apparent in the aftertaste, or it doesn't there's a warmth to it, but it's not like.
This is one.
It's not like a biting.
This is 160 proof.
What?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
gonna get me? I mean, how are you planning on really drinking a lot of it?
Not tonight, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what kind of. I'm assuming a lot of media is going to be reaching out to me shortly thereafter tonight. I don't know what to expect. I think a lot of people are going to want to follow up with me. I don't want to be lambasted, blitzed for this one.
You have to be able to
If there's any interviews.
Dictate the message, control the message, and
Yeah, I got to do all those things. I have to think a couple steps ahead again if I want to, like, people are asking me questions like, what is the name of this limoncello? Well, I don't want to talk about that yet.
no, it's not.
We want to wait until we, set up a proper distillery, have all of our distribution channels set up, but that's down the road.
So the proof again is what?
This was a 160 proof alcohol that I found, because when I bought this,
Shit.
because it's kind of hard to remember, but you have to think back to early, not even mandated quarantine. It was almost just work from home. That's when people before toilet paper were freaking out about hand sanitizer. So what ended up happening was I was about 2 days late on the really strong alcohol, because everyone bought it to make hand sanitizer. So
Really?
Yeah.
That's what happened?
All the cooking grade alcohols, the alcohol that you can throw into a pan, go up.
People want to know if we're buzzing yet. I think I've drank more than you so far. I'm trying to, before we get off here, get a little bit of a buzz, like with just a little, which I should be able to. So I'm not.
You're gonna have to go for a run tomorrow. You're gonna have
yeah,
to
I'll still run. I don't care. I'll run. But I haven't been drinking. I don't drink much that much anymore.
And there's other things we can make with this. So you can add this. There's cakes we can make. There's a lot of cocktails you can add this to. You don't have to just drink this straight. So we can do cocktail nights. We can, people can make their own cocktails at home.
If we do this again, yeah, I think people should also be drinking. I wish there was a way for people to show their drinks or whatever, but I guess that's just not.
I think it's Zoom is the only way for now.
I mean, I don't want to say that this is so good that I'm glad the coronavirus happened, but I could see where if you had to come up with one of the good things that has come out of the coronavirus, I would definitely put this on that list.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone would disagree. I think, I wish more people had this in their hand to taste it and let them make those decisions. That's a personal decision.
I do kind of think too that, there's no reason why this can't be mixed, or cut with maybe like a limoncello.
Oh, look at that. And you were the one. I was scanning the rags, and I saw a photo of you buying limoncello, those LaCroix. And I'm a
LaCroix slut. I'm a complete and total LaCroix whore.
Well, I would like you to try it with LaCroix, because that will probably give the emptiness. That will fill the void of the emptiness that LaCroix gives you. Mm-hmm. Because are you saying that I'm empty? Are
you saying that I have a lot of emptiness that needs to be filled? Because you're not wrong.
I don't want to take that this way, but I will say, if you are what you drink.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
If you're drinking an empty carbonated beverage,
Does anybody that is currently watching have any questions for either Santo or myself?
I have some questions. A lot of questions are for you. My favorite question is from a friend of mine named Tracy, who wrote why. Just why. You know what, Tracy? I don't know. Let's see if we can get
why to you, why to me, why to both of us?
I think why to all of it, dude.
I think the simple answer to that, Tracy, is that, it was something to look forward to. It was something hopeful. It was something different. I was seeing a lot of bullshit out there in the immediate, the initial days of the quarantine. And I thought that what Santo was doing wasn't bullshit. And I got behind it really fast. How many calories an ounce? Now that's a question. That's a good question, and I probably don't want to know the answer.
I'm gonna have to go. No, you don't want to know the answer. It's just pure sugar. Here's a question: how the hell do you still look like you're in the 20s? I'll field that one.
The 20s, like the roaring 20s?
Yeah, I assume that's what they mean. And you don't look like you're in the 20s. I probably look like I'm more in the 20s, the roaring 20s. So I would just say I live in the Burbank area. That it wears off, you know, in the heyday of this town. Burbank was at the center of it. They want to know, here's a couple things, Ryan. And I'm going to put a limoncello spin on this.
Okay.
Let's get personal. What in limoncello that you taste and like would
I'm
you
starting
find?
to feel it.
What kind of
Just a
attributes
little
of
bit.
this? What kind of attributes of this drink would you look for in a woman?
Cool. A little bit tart, sweet. It's very silky and smooth. I like that.
Ooh, very nice. That's a good one. A lot now for a lot of us, you know, I saw that Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi did something for New Jersey, and you know, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I can't imagine any two Delawareans have done more for Delaware during this pandemic than us right now.
No.
So that makes
not.
us I don't know. You want to be Bruce, and I like to be Bon Jovi. Probably you're more of the boss.
I don't know. I mean, it is special what we're doing to give of our time and drink on Instagram together. I think that it's the kind of thing that, you know,
this is what we do.
It's a show that things that it's going to get better and we're going to get through this.
And one of the questions I saw it earlier today that was sent in was, and I think I know your answer, Ryan, but why don't you answer this one? Where's the first place you're going to go when this thing lifts?
Well, I mean, before it lifts, I might go some places if that's what you're. I mean, just because it doesn't lift doesn't mean I'm not going to go someplace.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
But my
all within the legal.
So my beach house in Delaware is a place I can't wait to get to. But what really comes to mind when you say that is hot yoga.
Oh,
I really miss hot yoga almost more than any person or place.
do you do hot yoga in Delaware when you're there? Do they have that?
There are places that I will this summer, yeah.
Okay.
But I've only been into it for like a year and a half.
Yeah, I used to live, when I lived in New York, there was a 4th floor hot yoga studio that was directly parallel to my bedroom window. And I could see in and watch these people do hot yoga. And I've never taken hot yoga, but I've watched a lot of people do it from my bed. So it looks hard.
People are making fun of us saying this is bigger than Clooney and Randy Gerber. This is going to be our Casamigos. Hey, you laugh now, but when we sell this for $1 billion.
Let me tell you something. All we need is a guy like, you know, we need one more. You know, I don't know if I can carry the weight. We need like a Danny DeVito. You, me, and
cold
DeVito.
Yoga sucks.
That's no. I honestly think maybe we start selling this little by little in Dewey. We get someone like you, like I said, you, me, and Danny DeVito. That's the type of energy we need for this.
Yeah.
DeVito, because DeVito is the only celebrity that has a great limoncello story.
And there's nobody who does it. Oh, that's true, because he has that whole where he got loaded and he showed up to
the Today
talk show. The View, right?
Yeah. I was either the talk show or the Today Show or The View. Him and Clooney got loaded on limoncello, and they were off.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would love to have him involved. I would love, and who doesn't love Danny DeVito? Like everybody, young and old, male, female, everybody loves Danny DeVito.
Yeah. So I think
I love Always Sunny. I love it.
Well,
you enjoy Always Sunny?
I do like it. It's so good, and it's so many of them, and I got onto it late. So if people talk about it, I am nowhere near up to date in modern time. It's just too many shows, and I love it because of Philly. So, and I love, you know, this is a sunny drink. That's one of the.
I've really enjoyed this stuff. I'm so glad. It makes me happy because you know how much this meant to me watching you. Almost every post I would comment or send you like my support or.
Yeah,
you know.
I appreciate it. And
And I don't know, to see you with your beautiful children today, and that contraption you set up with that automated vehicle that didn't work, and bringing out the booze with your children, and it's
you
just
know,
nice.
one of the great things that I'll look back on is, you know, the fact that my children were involved in technically bootlegging.
Yeah, that's what it looked like and felt like.
Making and distributing alcohol in the state
To
of
a man in a
California
mask.
is illegal. So, and that, you know, and that's fun. Those are things we're going to look back on and be like, what did you do, your dad, during Corona? Some kids would be like, oh, I learned how to spell. I learned how to ride a bike. I watched my dad, you know, learn to make bread with my mother. And my kids will be like, nah, dad was making hooch in the cabinet. And then people came over and we gave it to them in weird ways.
People came over in masks, and
yeah.
and we slipped it to them while the feds weren't looking.
Yeah, those are the things. You can't get that. Again, going back to Corona, like,
You guys, I'm not drunk now. I'm just, I'm slightly buzzed. And
let me see if I have any other. Let me see any other questions.
But it is strong. This shit is strong. It's no White Claw. I'll tell you that.
I mean, look, I know what everyone wants. My friend Corey wrote in and he said it. I'll say it out loud so it's in the ether, but boy, they would love to have Guy Fieri join us.
My boy DJ Red Fox is here.
Oh,
what up, Red Fox?
They want Guy Fieri to join us for the Limoncello tasting.
Will he?
I mean, that would be hard, but I don't try to see who else. There's so many people in here. I know some of my friends. What we'll do is we'll probably have to do this again. We'll do it at the unveiling of the Limoncello. Maybe there's a way I can bottle this and distribute it around town and get some other people to pop in and out. And maybe we do this in another week where everyone can join in and we can keep on talking about it, get some other opinions, and people can write in more questions.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. And this was a beautiful start. This really, I don't know, like quarantine has not been easy for anyone, but this, I don't know, this kind of took me away to Sicily or something. And
Burbank.
Thank you for that.
It's my own little version of Sicily right here in Burbank.
Also, did they realize that you were playing a Jimi Hendrix version of the Godfather theme?
That's Slash.
Or Slash from Guns N' Roses.
That was Guns N' Roses, and he played it in, I don't know what city. It was a long time ago, and it's nasty. It's so awesome.
I wonder if anyone has been on the entire time.
I've watched a lot of live streams because of my job. I watch a lot of DJs on live stream, and I watch numbers drop, and I watch them drop bad. And we have been at over 550 the entire time.
That's not important, is it?
So, because I'm waiting. I've been waiting for the okay, enough of this. But no, you know what that tells me? It tells me that they want more. They want more limoncello in their life.
I think so. I think that's the truth.
And maybe
Rob keeps saying he wants to have sex with your lemons, which I don't even know how that'd be possible.
You can do that. I mean, there's I've learned a lot about lemons. I would say a Meyer lemon, Rob, would be better. These are a tough, porous.
Rob, are you thinking insertion or penetration? I'm not trying. I have no idea what you're trying to do here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think that was closed-minded of me. If you want something inserted, you want these.
He said, cut a small hole. How small, bud? Very small. Jesus. All right. Well, listen, I don't want to.
Are there other platforms? You know what? I can send me your address, Rob.
Yeah, just reach out to Santo. Cut out the middleman in this case.
I can.
And a happy quarantine, Rob. Happy quarantine, buddy.
Oh, do people say that?
Sure. Sure.
Happy quarantine.
We got to come up with certain phrases because there's going to be more of them, so we're going to have to trot them out during the next quarantine. I
was wondering, because we're in, I think you could refer to it as the teens, but then it would be, we just came out of the teens, numerically.
Speak for yourself, brother.
Like back in the teen when we were in the quarantine.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm trying to. This is the limoncello kicking in.
It really is kicking in, and in a special way. And I thank you, and I thank everyone who showed up to watch us drink
Yeah.
this, to support you and your limoncello journey.
And it's not over. We're just starting, everyone. So look, we're here every week. We'll figure out a thing to do. It'll be fun. We'll pop in and out. Just keep an eye out on the gram. Ryan, myself, we'll keep you up to date. We're here for you.
Look forward to the sequel at the very least, Orange Cello.
Orange Cello. That one is going to be a tricky one. I think that one's going to have a complex palate to it.
And I'm not going to pretend as if I'm not having a little more of this as we say goodbye and good night.
Look at that color. There we go. All right, everyone. Stay safe. Stay home. Limoncello.
Cheers, big ears.
See ya.